We seem to have been left a little gift that our children may have left to us out of the future in the form of a myth that they knew would be rediscovered at just the right time, which could be right now. Apparently there is going to be a great flood of some kind that could endanger all. This may have to do with something as obvious as the global environmental crisis, or it could be another kind of a system-wide ecological breakdown that is still unknown. Someone seems to have left us a few choice words of encouragement that only now becomes apparent, words that would not corrode all the way down to nothing, even after thousands of years, and words that would become ripe with meaning when the time was right, of what the impending changes would be, and where the time frames are, and what we should be looking out for, so we would know when the time of changes would be dawning upon us, in a flood of changes, which could be upon us, like wave after wave of the unavoidable consequences of our own misplaced sense of priorities. We have overdrawn too deeply from the ecological storehouse, and now we are just about to lose our home. We cannot ever hope to get back into balance, using the ordinary tactics of borrowing some more from the Earth's dwindling storehouses, because payback time is coming near, and that could now be coming down upon us, very much like a flood, because we have been living beyond our means, and with a reckless disregard for all that was ever good and right. We may have been the ones who have decided a long time ago, in the distant future maybe, to make some new things happen, to change our own history and to make it just a little different next time around, so we do not lose our home, and so that we do not lose our forests and our wildlife, and so that we do not lose the oceans and the atmosphere, and so that we do not lose our freedom and humanity, and so that all is not lost ever again that has been attained at such great cost to us all, and to the many who have given birth, and to the many who have died, just to help us to make it this far. It appears that we do have something to be thankful for, since it appears that we have been given a wake-up call just before we were about to lose the garden. Think about how difficult it would be for one small family-sized grouping of people to even be able to go out and capture some of these animals, which would be almost completely unimaginable. It is no wonder that none of this was ever believed to be true. Who on earth could have been expected to ever see through to the true significance, which is about ecological sustainability and saving endangered species, until the time was right? Well, now it all becomes clear what the real significance of the myth of the Great Flood was really all about. A flood could be a way of referring to an almost inescapable onslaught of environmental changes that will be upon us, like a flood of mythological proportions that we must now become well prepared for, well in advance, or else it will be just too late, just as it would be with a flood. Only the regeneration generation, people like you and me, could have been expected to get the fully charged ecological implications about saving the Earth and all the endangered species, and saving in this way our own backsides in the process. That may be how we should understand this, that we are to become the people of the Ark, and that we are to save the Earth. We might even be able to assume that the beginning of the time frame of the coming time of great changes will begin to come into effect, believe it or not, just as soon as the meaning becomes at all clear, which is all happening right now. We can see quite easily The changes in climate, due to global warming, that have brought about stronger hurricanes, as well as much more devastating tornadoes. We can see the light of day through the ozone hole. We know how serious it will be when the deep ocean currents change in a very dangerous way due to the melting of the Greenland ice sheet, at which time it may be too late to turn anything around. There is always room for a great deal of diversity in a forest, and each tree stands independently, and yet they all stand together in voluntary simplicity. They will all be able to become unified and begin to collaborate through their unification with the vision of the ark, which may start first here in the Americas and then may spread throughout the world. We must all be able to make it up to the headwaters, where these watershed-based communities can be expected to flourish. We do hope there are many who are ready to feed and breed and to plant and reseed, so we can fulfill this one shared vision of an earth restored and a world at peace, because we do plan to return right after the burn. Then we can begin creating new children who are to be raised up within this more meaningful new way of life. We need to learn how to raise up our children in a way which supports their swiftly becoming ready to carry on with this emerging new vision of how a small group of people could go on to save the earth. All the endangered species will need to be taken into the picture. Think how unthinkably difficult that would have been in ancient times to build such a huge ship and to bring all the animals on Earth together onto the same boat 2 by 2. That would have been a bit much to expect from some simple tribal peoples who were little more than an extended family, but we might want to consider that to be symbolic of the extended tribal community network that we call the Emerald Forest, now that we have begun to take one step beyond the sidewalks of doom and gloom in a new spirit of restoration and rejuvenation. We are all endangered species here on Earth, and because the entire web of life may now be at risk, and we can see why this could be, and a lot of the warnings are already in place, there is no excuse for us to sit idly by and watch the earth go down, like the Bango on Mount Kenya would have, and most all of the life that lies on this one particular mountain that we call the earth may come to an untimely end without our help, which could last for a very long time. The Emerald Forest is just a whole network of integrated sustainable communities that will start right here in the Americas, and hopefully that will spread throughout the world. We are the people who share a common purpose of saving the earth. We are the kindred spirits of the Emerald Forest. We are the people of the Ark who must now begin to build the Ark, which will be our new home, and we are the people who will then be able to save most of what remains of all life on Earth during the great catastrophic changes in climate that could escalate way out of control, very quickly bringing about mass upheaval. And as a network of sustainable communities with a purpose, we may have a much better chance of making it through the rising tides of experience within the global environmental crisis that may already be completely unavoidable due to human tampering with the fragile balance of the biosphere, endangering the entire web of life.